Hey, successful women. Hi, everybody. How you guys doing today? It's Wednesday, lunch break live day. Hi to all you VIPs in the group. Also, hey to the replay watchers. Make sure you comment so that we know that you're here watching the replay so we can say hi to you as well. And hi to all the YouTube viewers as well. Please let us know in the YouTube comments that you stopped by. Drop any questions you have there and we'll go in and answer them as well. So the holidays are here. We are in full swing. I got my Santa shirt on today because I love to embarrass my kids this time of year. Anyone else dressing like a nerd right about now? Because that's what I do. I know you're out there. I know I'm not the only one. So today my guest is Aashna Makin. Aashna helps entrepreneurs grow their business using Facebook ads, right? We always have questions about Facebook ads, right? Like, what do we do there? They're always changing as well. And she has a beginners friendly live training program. So let's welcome Aashna. Let me bring her on.
Hey.
Hello. Oh, good. I can hear you. We're all
Hey.
set. How are you
Yeah,
doing? Thanks for
great to be
coming
here today.
on. All right. Sorry, I was kind of talking over you for a second. That was my fault. But thanks for hopping on. I'm going to give you the floor, let you do your training. And I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you.
Definitely. Hello, everybody. So my name is Aashna. I have been doing paid ads for the last 5.5 years. The reason I started this live training program is because, the organic reach takes a lot of time and it's almost kind of dead. So you definitely need to have like a paid ad strategy into your marketing if you know. And no matter whether you're just starting off, you're in your growth stage, you're scaling, everybody needs more business, more leads. And one of the common questions that I've always seen entrepreneurs and business owners asking is, what is the ideal budget? Do I need thousands of dollars to start running ads? The answer is no. I myself have done successful campaigns with just $2-3 as the ad spend in a day, and they have been quite profitable. So that's the reason I started with Super Ads. Super Ads is a beginner friendly live training program with just $57. Yes, you heard it right. The training is live on the weekends for just 57. I know there are, a lot of other fancy programs there that would be priced at like 497, 297, and will run for the entire weeks. But what I have realized is you guys are entrepreneurs, you have other stuff to do. So what I'm going to do is going to dive into whatever exactly is needed. There's so many terms into marketing, which is just noise. You do not need to like know them to run successful campaigns. What I have done is, based on my experience in the past 5 years, I've taken down the content that is actually needed. So that's like a no bullshit training that we dive directly into the concepts that you really need to make your campaign successful. So hoping to see you, wonderful ladies, there. Our next batch is coming up in January. Registrations are open. If you register early, it's for $57. If you register post 1st January, the cost is going up to $97. So the link is there in the description here, up and down. You can feel free to reach out to us in the comment section, whether you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook, and get in touch with that. And I'm hopeful you will go away with a lot of strategies that will help you, do your campaigns better. So even if you're right now running your own ads and you want to, know what you can do differently to get that desired results, feel free to attend the training, and I'll be happy to assist you live. Because a lot of times we go to the YouTube ads or pre-recorded trainings, which, and Facebook is a platform that's so dynamic, right? Like, it keeps on changing every week. You see some new options here and there. So that's the reason I do live, so that whatever new update has come in, or whatever is needed for you to get started into the ad space, I'm going to be covering that in my live training program. So see you guys there in my January's batch. Yeah. So this is all I had today for the Super Ads live training program. You heard it right, for just $57.
That's pretty incredible for you getting live, like up to the minute training for only $57. Like, I like that concept of only doing it live, because it does change. Like, everything
Right.
changes about like all these social media platforms. So I think that's really amazing that you're doing that, like you're going to get the most current information, and it's only $57. That's like nothing.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's like a great service. Like, you're doing
Yes,
people a really great
definitely. Yeah.
service.
So, as I mentioned, I don't want to charge high prices and, give you all the information, spend your time doing things that you will not even practically put to use ever. You do not have to do that. You're not a marketing professor to, just speak about stuff. I'll be
Mm.
diving into strategies that will straight get you started doing ads the right way, the practical way.
Yeah. So if there's one piece of advice you could give us right now about ads, what would it be? Like, what's the biggest piece of advice that you have?
I would say start at limited budget. It's good to have less budget in the beginning, so that you're not losing your money just trying to figure out that right thing. Even if you are in your scaling stage and you have hundreds of dollars to invest in your ad spend right now, do not do that. Start running your campaigns at $5-10 a day for a week. See how it goes. Test a variety of different ad copies, images, and how to do that will be covered in my training program. Launch it right, and then scaling becomes very easy. So never start your campaigns fresh with like hundreds and thousands of dollars, and then you are just burning money, right? So try to figure out, test small, start small, but start running your ads, because that's definitely going to help you amplify your reach and support your organic strategies.
So what you do is you teach people to run a couple of
Yes, a
different
couple of
ads.
different ads depending on what business niche you are in. So, campaign for local service business would be very different to an e-commerce store.
Right.
So, we have study groups. Like, although the training is just on the weekends, we have study groups wherein you go back, you run your ads. After that, you come and, you can ask questions, you can get it sorted now,
Oh,
tailored to your business. So, it's like I'm giving you a hand holding throughout, till the time you start
nice.
running your like your campaign becomes successful. So you always have my support whenever you have questions when you are actually running your ads.
That's pretty good. That's awesome. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you came on. That's useful information.
Thank you. I'm hoping to have a couple of successful ladies from this group into my batch coming up in January. Registrations are open. You can visit my site and register soon and avail the early bird offer for $57.
Nice. I think that's great. And I know you're going to have some people asking because people always have questions about ads, like
Right, right,
always. So
exactly, exactly.
I think that's an amazing way to get someone started. So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate that. And
No,
your link
it's
is
my
in the
pleasure.
description. And I believe you can be in the comments as well, answering anyone's questions as well.
Definitely,
So
I'll be more
yeah.
than happy to, answer any questions that you guys currently have for Facebook ads.
All right. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Have a great
much.
rest of your day. Thanks for
You
coming
too.
on.
Bye.
Ooh, that was good. I might end up taking her up on that at some point in time because $57. Oh my goodness. So that is amazing. So thank you to Ashna. All right. So I'm curious to hear from you guys. I'm curious to hear how many of you have had this this kind of thought where like you're creating, right? You're creating this thought just in general when you show up online. How many of you guys feel like you have anxiety or you worry about people seeing what you do online, just in general, right? This could be applicable to if you're doing organic, right? And people are seeing your post, you're having anxiety over putting something out there and having somebody see it, or whether you're running ads, right? And then someone sees your ad, right? Some people want to run ads because they want to kind of run away from the people that they know seeing their organic posts. Like people will literally say, I want to do ads because they don't want their friends and family to see what they're posting about their business. So what happens when you do that, when you run an ad and then somebody from your family or your friends sees your ad? What happens? Do you have to turn off the ad, right? Who knows what they think about it, right? Maybe they think what we're doing is ridiculous. And I can't believe I'm trying to do this coaching thing or this direct sales thing or whatever it is that your business is, right? What do you guys think? Put that in the comments. I'm just curious what your initial thoughts are when I'm saying this, right? With if people see you online, right? Because odds are if this has been in your way up to this point, then it's probably in your way in other areas of your life as well. And I want to chat about that. Okay. But first, I want to introduce myself. If you don't know me, I know a lot of you, we have a lot of new people every month coming in here. So I'm Katie Fairhurst. I'm the admin of this group and I'm the creator of the rejection free sales system. I help online entrepreneurs who are making less than 10K per month in their business grow and automate their businesses using successful habits and evergreen strategies so they can create the life and the business that they want without overwhelm and without long hours. If you're new here on the YouTube channel, make sure you hit like and subscribe because we put out these lunch break live videos every single week and I don't want you to miss the next live free training. Okay, so here's the thing that I've noticed. It usually comes in one of a few categories when we have this like this anxiety, I guess you would call it, of being seen online. Sometimes it's like friends and family that we have anxiety about. Sometimes we care more about what strangers think. Okay, so like, what is that? Right? And I want to hear from you guys, and I want to hear from you guys who believe that you have overcome this, right? Like you had this before and then you've overcome this, right? And you feel totally comfortable with everything, right? Was it friends and family that you were most worried about, or was it more like the complete strangers on the internet seeing your post and then passing some kind of judgment over you? What do you think you were most nervous about when you had this fear? Because some of you, it's going to be friends and family. You're going to be like I don't want to, like I'm worried about what my mom is going to think about me, right? And some of you, it's going to be like, especially when you start showing up on like a larger scale, right? And more people are seeing it, it's going to be what strangers, people who don't even know you, have to think about you. And maybe you don't care about it because like you haven't had a stranger giving you their opinion yet. But I just want to warn you, it's going to happen. And that's why I want to do this training, because whether you're in the beginning stages where you haven't had it happen yet, or you think or it's happening now, or you've already overcome this, it's going to happen at some point in time. Because here's the truth, people are either going to like you or they're not going to like you, right? Are they going to think you're the most amazing thing ever and be super supportive, or they're not? And either way, there's no right way for you to control their opinions, right? We don't control other people's opinions. In order to do that, you would literally have to have the ability to control people's minds. So I need you to think just for a second whether, whether you get bumped up against this edge or whether you feel like you overcame it, then when you show up with a larger audience on a bigger scale, that edge is going to come back. All right, so it's important to remember that we can't control what people think about us. We can't control people's thoughts about us. We can't control what people think, right? Whether they think we're cool, if they think we're pretty, if they think we're smart, if they think we're successful, right? A lot of us spend so much time pretending to appear a certain type of way to people because we want them to have a certain opinion about us, right? But the only thing we're controlling in that moment, when we spend a lot of time rearranging our life, pretending to appear a certain type of way so that people that we care about will have that certain opinion, the only thing we're controlling is our thoughts about what their opinion is, because we never really know what they're thinking, right? I want you to think about if you can tell if somebody like really thinks you're awesome, right? Like they really like you, they really think you're awesome. But do you know what they're thinking? Like all the details of their thoughts, right? Absolutely, like are they absolutely thinking about what you really are like? This can come down to your clients, like your clients' opinions of you, right? Like your client can tell you that you're amazing. And the only way you get affected by what the client is thinking is if you believe that, right? Think about that. Sometimes what happens is we create these scenarios where we decide what somebody's opinion of us must be, but we actually have no idea what their opinion of us actually is. There's this concept that a coach taught me, and it's called the constant. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this concept before. It's called the constant. All right, I want you to think about like you are the constant in your life. And I want you to imagine a scenario where you're like walking into a party and say there's like 10 people out of 30 who are excited to see you. All right? Like let's put this in the coaching world, all right? Let's say you're hosting a challenge. All right? Lots of us do that. There's 10 people in the challenge and they're excited to be in the challenge, right? And the 10 people, they're listening to you and they're doing all the homework that you give them and they're chatting back and forth with you, right? Now, if their opinion of you was based on what you said at the challenge, what you did, right? Then all 10 of those people who did your challenge would have the exact same opinion of you because you're the constant. You showed up, you said exactly the same thing to everyone, you tell the same story, you're wearing the same thing, you look exactly the same, you're acting the same to every single person who was there. So if you're controlling the opinion of how they thought of you, then they should have the same exact opinion, every single one of them, all 10 of those people in your challenge. But they don't, do they? They have 10 different opinions because their opinion of you is based on like maybe they think you look like their third grade teacher and like third grade was their worst year, right? Maybe you look like someone from their past. Maybe you remind them of their mother-in-law. I happen to love my mother-in-law, but you know how that goes. Maybe you're wearing this color and they just hate that color, right? It's just not their style and they just hate that color and they can't stand looking at it, right? Maybe they love what you're wearing. Maybe you remind them of their childhood best friend, right? Maybe they think you're fantastic. They love your style, everything about your personality, right? Maybe they like you because you're like them. You remind them of them. There's a part of them that they resonate with. So the point is, you don't know why people like you and you don't know why people don't like you. And there's no way that you could possibly ever understand what has happened in their life, what's going on in their brain, their thoughts, their beliefs that determine whether or not they like you. And I know we all understand this like on an intellectual level, right? You understand that on an intellectual level. But so often we hide who we really are and we try to act in a certain way so someone won't have an opinion about us, right? Or to control the narrative of what someone might think about us so much that you're not even being yourself anymore, right? Or you just don't show up at all because you're not sure what version you can be, what version of you that you can be. You're not sure which version of you is going to be widely accepted. And this is a very human thing, right? This is what makes us human beings. Like I want to show up as friendly, as happy, as interested, right? That's what you're thinking. And here's the thing, if you show up as a version of yourself, you think someone will like that, right? You think I don't want to be socially rejected or kicked out of the herd, which would mean that even if you show up that way, a bunch of people like you, even if they love you, right? They're not really seeing the real you because you're acting in a way that you think would be pleasing to them. It's like this version of you. It's not even you. It's like a filtered version of you. So number one, just recognizing that you're not going to be for everybody. No matter how hard you tried, you're not going to please everyone. You're not going to be for everyone. Okay, you're not going to upset people when you show up to the world with your ideas, your opinions, your beliefs, right? Some are not going to like it, or they're just not going to agree, right? How many guys have you seen that quote where it says you could be at the greatest or the most beautiful beach in the world, and there's always going to be someone there that doesn't like beaches? It's not the beach's fault, right? It's just that person's personal preference. And I think like really taking this concept from that intellectual level and really integrating that into who you are can just be very liberating, right? When it comes to showing up for your business, you can take that deep breath and just work. Because if you think that doing organic marketing is scary, you'll run at this until you have strangers see what you do and then they don't think before they start typing on a keyboard, right? This concept in my life has been really, really powerful, right? Sometimes there's people in my life, they haven't liked me, but I know they're not my people, right? And there's people in my life who have really liked me and they really are my people. So you start developing your people, your circle, right? There's people that I totally love eating out with. I love being around them. Like I really appreciate them. And so what happens is once you start attracting the people who like you for who you are, and they love everything. They can't get enough of it. It's that you create your circle of people. All right. And the ones that don't like you, they won't stay. They're not for you. Okay. And how many of you guys have struggled like even when you're signing clients, right? So after the marketing is done, you're signing clients, and maybe you've signed a few clients, and then you immediately go into anxiety around constantly worrying about your clients' thoughts about you, right? Now that you've signed a few clients and now you're a bigger coach, right? Constantly needing to be available, constantly wanting to check in on them, wanting to do the work for them, right? So it's so super important to understand that you can never be the person that decides whether someone likes you or not. It's not up to me, it's up to them. It's up to their experiences in their life, their preferences, their thoughts, and giving yourself permission to realize that that makes sense if someone doesn't like you. That makes sense, right? I don't like everybody, but that doesn't mean that just means they're not my people, right? Saying that, like, you know what? I have my own judgments, some that I really need to work through, but I have my own judgments, right? The truth is, I have preferences over, for one person over another. For some people, I'm just more attracted to than others, and that's okay. It's okay if you don't like beaches. Who are you? Just kidding. It's okay if you don't like beaches. You know, you may have people in your family who are like, I don't know why you're still trying to be a coach or a network marketer or a social media manager or whatever it is that you do, right? And you hear this. Can you just be like a regular human being on the planet and go get a 9 to 5? Because that's what we're all doing here, right? We would all be way more comfortable if you would just stick with the status quo. We're all uncomfortable with what you're trying to do. Go and get a regular job, please. I don't care what it is, right? You've heard that. What about family and friends where it's like they're going to have these thoughts about what I do, but what about when I have to be around them, right? Like events and parties, right? This is family time of the year, right? So, one of the things I think is really, really helpful coming from that place of like being deeply concerned about their opinion and wanting them to see your perspective, right? Is just getting really interested and really fascinated by their opinions. When you have those people in your life and they have their opinions about your life, if it's like your mom or your loved one, really wanting them to, you want them to see and approve of what you're doing, right? Just get really fascinated by their perspective. Like, I wonder where this is stemming from. Where is their opinion stemming from? It's just so interesting. It's so entertaining how their brain works, right? Then it shifts from a place of trying to control their brain to just like being interested and fascinated by how it's working. Kind of get like into the science of like why they might be thinking about this, right? So I just want to relieve you from the pressure of trying to convince others, right? What if it was possible for you to just enjoy their perception of you, even if it was different than your perception? How much more peace would you have in your life if you weren't caught up in trying to change everybody and what they think, right? Like what they're thinking about you. You know what happened when I told my coworker the price of my program? Like for some reason, I thought it was a really good idea in the beginning when I first started to tell my coworker what I was doing. That I was going to be a coach, um, and like I was going to do it online, right? And she said, like, "Oh, how much is it?" And I think I was still like in beta testing at the time. I think it was probably a second or third kind of round of that, and it was like $1,000 or something then, right? And she's just like, "Oh, I don't know. It sounds like a lot. I don't know." Right? And this lesson that I'm giving you today would have been really valuable for me in that moment because instead of being really fascinated about where that perspective was coming from and that it's so interesting, right? Because like to look at it now, I really do think it's interesting, because she's someone who spends a lot of money on a lot of things, right? And she likes to get special things done. She's someone who spent $30,000 on a college education, but thought $1,000 for a business education was a lot. That's fascinating, you know? When you stop thinking about it, you start breaking it down. It's fascinating. And so now I look at that perspective and I think it's fascinating, but at the time, I just didn't think of that perspective. I just kind of like took it on. And thank goodness it didn't sway me from my mission, right? It was kind of one of those moments where deep down inside I would have liked for her to just give me that permission to be right. Like, so like just like if you have those family or those friends, those coworkers, they don't all give you the thumbs up, right? We've all been there. We all go through that, and just know to give them permission. Give them permission to have an opinion about what you're doing. That's it. And truthfully, they've never sold a 2K or a 3K package for coaching before. They probably don't have any opinion about it whatsoever. They might think it's really cool that you can do that, but they're not going to be able to give you real perspective on how to do it. All right. So just remember that other people's opinions of you are not your business. And even if they were, you can't control them. You can try, you can think that you're controlling them, but the only place that you actually know that is a thought that's happening in your mind. You can be like, I'm pretty sure I know all these people love me. I just know it. But the only place that knowing is happening is in your thoughts, not theirs. And you're probably right. Like your family, I'm sure they probably do love you, right? I don't want you all out there questioning whether your family or your loved ones, if they really love you, right? Like, is this only happening in my mind? Does my husband really love me? Don't take this out of context. I'm sure your husband loves you. But if you're having a thought that you're noticing yourself worrying about what someone thinks about you or worry that someone doesn't like you, you know, stop and ask yourself whether that thought serves you, you know? And if it isn't a thought that serves you, do you know that it's even true? Right? Just know that when you became an entrepreneur, when you're a coach, right? If you're a weight loss coach, a life coach, business coach, you're in sales, you're a sales coach, you're a marriage coach, relationship coach, whatever it is, you're putting yourself out there when you're creating content for the world, right? Your ideas, you're writing books, you're creating programs, you're creating products, you're putting materials out there. You're putting yourself out there to be criticized. There's no way for me to spare you from that happening, right? It's just going to happen. So if it hasn't happened yet and you're like, "Phew, I used to worry about that in the beginning, but now I'm over it." Just know, unfortunately, the criticism doesn't go away. All right? And there may be a point in your life where you receive criticism, right? You receive a criticism that really stings, and I want you to remember this lesson. Okay? I want this to be valuable for you in that moment. So often when I see entrepreneurs struggle to find the energy to put themselves out there just to do something, when you start peeling back the layers, it's not how to put themselves out there. It's all of the thoughts that, what's going to happen when people see you. And oftentimes when we're worried about how other people are going to receive our message, you'll notice a symptom of that is being very confused about what your message is, right? That's how it starts to translate, right? You're very confused about something like it's not good enough. My message isn't clear enough. It's not concise enough. It's not direct. It's too all over the place. I need to rework it, right? Versus better by doing and putting something out there, you know that could have been better, but it's done. And done is better than perfect. And every time you put something out there, it gets better and better and better. And every time you put something out there, people's lives are changed. People receive value from it, right? What if I put something out there and it's too simple, right? But what if being simple is a great thing? What if simple scales and complex fails? Have you ever heard that before? Right? What if you guys put out an ad or put out a post and it was too simple? What's the worst thing that could happen? Right? Obviously, our goal is for you to put out like things that are amazing, ads and content that's amazing. What happens if nobody inquires? What's the worst thing that can happen? Maybe a little bit of failure, right? We've talked about failure before. I've done a couple of lives on failure, right? Now, the worst thing that could happen is that you adjust it. You just start to adjust your message. So, when it comes to creating content, if you notice yourself hesitating and it's because you're worried about how it will be perceived, first of all, if it's something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, like if it pushes the boundaries of what you're comfortable with, you're like, oh, I don't know. It seems like I don't know that this, maybe I'm sharing a little bit too much. It's a little too raw. It's a little too vulnerable. That is usually a sign that that's the exact thing that you need to do. If you're sharing your story that's relatable to the person that you're here to help, and it's something vulnerable that you went through, and it feels a little bit uncomfortable to put out there, that's usually your best work, right? Usually that's your most unfiltered version of you. And part of the reason why it feels scary is because you're not hiding. You're not hiding in your post. You're not trying to show up a certain way. You're not trying to make people comfortable with your writing. You're not like filtering it or trying to come across as like overly professional, and perfectly put together, right? Any of those versions of you where it filters what you're saying because of how you want other people to kind of proceed with you, one that's unfiltered feels scary is usually the one that you need to post. It's usually the message that you need to get out there, right? Agree? So, one of the most important things when we're thinking about how to get past that moment, the concept of putting something out there, is just like starting with the question of why do we care? Like, why do we care what other people think? Why do we want approval? And remembering that it's just a human element. It's that human aspect of us that's coming forward, right? It's in that deep primal nature, right? We as human beings are very tribal beings. It's from our roots. So stop and remind yourself and ask yourself, why do you care? And not just a general answer, like, really, why do you care? Give yourself a moment to like actually write it down. The other question you can ask is like, who specifically are the people whose eyeballs you are worried about? Like, think of like a very specific person. Who is it? Is it one person in particular? Literally write their name down. Sometimes your brain's just going to go, oh, it's everyone, right? I'm just in general, I'm just worried about everyone seeing, about everybody seeing what I'm doing, right? But it might just be actually, if you think about it, it might just be like one person's thoughts. And so that can be really helpful to kind of bring you into a perspective, like who is that one person, right? And you can dig into like, why do I care so much about what that one person is thinking, right? Who is that person and why do you care, right? Like if someone has an opinion about your business, like they can't personally teach you or scale your business or coach you in your business, right? And I don't accept opinions from people who don't know how to create the thing that I'm doing. They don't know. They don't know what I'm doing, right? So if you notice yourself having an opinion or reaction to someone's opinion about what you're doing, ask yourself, does this person know how to solve this problem? Right? And ask yourself, is there a reason why I might care? And did I choose that reason intentionally? Right? The good rule of thumb is that if they don't know how to help me solve this thing that I care about, then why do I care? Right? And the other thing is, let people be wrong about you. If you notice someone has a different opinion about you and it's different than the identity that you have of yourself, the only way that it affects you is if you actually agree with them, if you believe them, if you take it on yourself. One of the examples, funny examples that I like to use for this is if, say, I had purple hair, all right, and someone came up to me and said, I just have to tell you how much I hate your purple hair. Like, your purple hair is just bothering me, right? I can't stand looking at it. I wouldn't take that on and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm really offending you with my hair. I feel horrible about this, right? Instead, I feel like, well, that's really interesting. So interesting that they think my hair being purple is a terrible and offensive thing that's really affecting their life. Like, why do I even care about that? Right? So it sounds like a silly analogy, but think about it. Right? When people say things that really like cut deep or that really hurt us, if they have an opinion about us, there's always that part of us that's worried that it's true. Am I like that? Is it me? Am I the problem? Versus I know what I'm here to do and I know who I'm here to serve. I have a calling. So someone else has an opinion about what I'm here to do and who I'm here to serve and what my intentions are. Why? Why do I care? I don't, right? And sometimes people might say something that they don't like something about your behavior, your attitude, something like that. And sometimes you might be like, you know what? I kind of agree with you. I didn't notice that before, but now that you mention it, I don't really particularly like that aspect of me either. And that's something I think I'm going to start working on. I know now that I need to work on that, right? But I want to offer to you that you are the only one that gets to decide that. You are the only one that gets to decide your opinion in that view. And the more that you can break free from this very primal, caveman, human aspect of us, of wanting to be part of the herd, right? Not wanting to be kicked out of the herd, the faster you'll grow in your life, the faster people will be able to see who you are. And the people that will love you for who you are and who resonate with you for who you are, who want to work with you and will want everything that you have to offer, the faster they'll be able to see you and connect with you. So we got to get to the thought that serves you right before you're about to post something, right before you're about to click live on an ad campaign, right before you're about to click live on a video or click live on a challenge and put content out there. When you notice the negative thought come up, ask yourself, does it serve you? Because the only place it's occurring is in your mind. What about the thought that my people care? I think they care deeply. A lot of them like or they even love everything that I put out there, right? Because some people might go to the negative and say nobody cares, and it's in a very defeating way. Like, why am I even putting anything out there? Nobody cares what I have to say. What if it's more like people care? People need to hear this. My people get it. My circle gets it. If you get it, you get it. Right? How about that side? If you know, you know. If you get it, you get it. Instead of is anybody going to get me? You have a circle. You have to find them. So I'm curious to hear from those of you who notice this stuff, right? I want to hear from you like over the course of the week. If you haven't before and now you're going to start to notice it, I want to hear from you if you feel anything starting to shift from you. If you notice elements of you caring what other people think, going in and shifting that, and then you notice how thought is different, right? My person needs to hear this. Someone today needs to hear this. 10 people see this, 9 people didn't need to hear it, but one person did. I did my job today. All righty, my friends, I hope this is helpful for you. This is such a good reminder for us, right? Because it doesn't matter how far you go in your business, how much you scale, you have scaled and you're going to scale. This is constant work that needs to be done. Constant mindset work. And the second you think you've got everything covered, you don't have any more worries, I'm not afraid of judgment, I've overcome all of that, I want to warn you that that's when you should be worried. Because usually that's like when you're about to fall flat on your face because you think you have it all covered. You let your guard down. You're like, I'm past all of that, right? That's when life's about to throw you a curveball, right? But that's part of evolution. That's part of the evolution of ourselves, the part of the evolution of our business. That's part of us growing. If we stay comfortable and everything's good and sending rainbows, then we're not hitting our next level. The minor discomforts are part of our growth, and they should be welcomed with open arms, but fierce strategies. Awesome, guys. Thanks for indulging me in some of this mindset work today. Don't forget to check out Aashna's link. I have a bunch of links in there as well. If you're looking to start ads, I suggest you go and talk to Aashna, that's for sure. And thanks to everyone. Have a great rest of your day. See you later.